in the 1v1 set. Let's go ahead and jump in to our opening game for our second set. Tribe Gaming, with a win in this set, would clinch first place in the division and put a lot of pressure on Team Liquid for tomorrow.
Well, and what seems like something that we're forgetting is that Pedro's also been playing very well in this set this season. Also, he's at 5-3 in games, 2-1 in sets, but it honestly looks abysmal compared to Jupiter's record.
Yeah, your 63% win rate is terrible, Pedro, by comparison to 100% win rate. So might be going a minor Muscaloon here for Pedro.
Yeah, very, very
quick. A lot
of
balloon today between both of these teams.
Yeah, I've been seeing more and more balloon, whether it's on ladder and GCs. I mean, obviously one of the most popular win conditions, but these quick cycle balloon decks just become so hard to keep up with. A nice zap there to get some damage on that tower.
And here comes the Graveyard from Jupiter King, one of the more popular Graveyard cycle decks, or Graveyard decks overall of the season.
Yeah,
Poison, easy response for Pedro.
Yeah, very, very nice cleanup there for Pedro, and with that poison and a very, very quick cycle, it's going to be really tough for Jupiter King to figure out how he wants to go on offense here. Is he going to play into the same lane? Is he going to try to go opposite? How does he keep up with the cycle of Pedro? And then when you talk about that balloon coming in.
And, I mean, but looking at the spells, Andrew, Pedro could just be going minor poison control here as well, which we haven't seen a ton of at CRL West. Minor poison control hasn't been insanely popular in the last couple of metas, especially with the minor being nerfed, and it's Minor Prince. Here we go.
Yeah, Minor Prince, really, really popular. Obviously, Prince getting that massive boost, the massive buff, and the Graveyard comes in a half-second late, so the Prince is able to connect to the Valkyrie. Not what Jupiter King wanted, but as you can see, he does narrow that gap.
Minor going to work on the left-hand side. Zap to make a little bit more room for it. Here we go. Final minute of regulation play. And Log on the left-hand side, 14-14 with a 40-second remaining.
Yeah, Pedro is happy to just continue to do this until the match runs out. He's happy to win in a sudden death situation, but it's going to be really, really tough, again, to make sure that these skeletons never touch his tower, because even with poison, you can see right there, 2 or 3 skeletons do come in and get some good damage, but Jupiter King now in trouble at the top, below 1200 HP.
Goblin Brawler not going to get on tower. Musketeer up to the task on defense. But that poison value going to be there consistently for Jupiter King.
Yep.
On the offensive side with the Musketeer, and the skeletons go to the front. So these miners not getting picked up by Jupiter King in the final minutes.
And the bats connect on the front end of the tower, 625 to 1375. Pedro looks like he could be the guy to do it, the one to finally take a game away from Jupiter King. Double poison down.
The high poison to work on the Musketeer, and now just trying to set up early with the Mega Minion in the back. Skeletons high, but just stretched a little bit too thin right now as Jupiter King. Can he hold off this Prince?
Yeah, Prince comes in a little bit late because it gets turned around by the Graveyard, which messes up Jupiter King's defense just a tad. And now that log value coming in, Minor going to go in as well. Jupiter King in trouble.
Just trying to save as much as he can. 3:17 left-hand side, 8:09 for Pedro with 1:10 remaining. Just really has not had good answers for the Musketeer, has been forced to spend the poison on it, not able to get the rest of the defense off, and that's going to be it.
Yeah.
Minor poison control with Prince wins it for Pedro.
Can lose a game, at least.
Well, let's see if Pedro can make it 2 games. Would be a big one here, not just for Cream to extend it, but also to breathe a little more life into the Team Liquid side, who's, again, watching this one very, very closely. A Cream win makes their life a lot easier, their job a lot more doable against Dignitas tomorrow.
So maybe we're looking at a mirror matchup here. Maybe it's going to be Minor Loon Cycle. You know, we saw the control version last time without the balloon, but this time with the Ice Golem, you have to think that that might be the way they're going.
Minor goes into the back. Log takes care of the Musketeer high. First minute away, and here you go. A small little Icicle and Balloon push the opposite direction.
Yeah, you talk about min-maxing. They're going to take that damage from the Miner and try to get this push in on the Balloon. And I think that Balloon will connect. No, it does not. A great late Musketeer to clean it up just in time.
That snowball pushing it a little bit towards the middle to give the other tower opportunity to target really was a big factor as well for Jupiter King. First minute, 15 away, and so far Tribe Gaming just a little bit ahead in the left-hand lane.
Yeah, and you saw right there a slightly late played Skeletons there from Pedro made it so that Musketeer of Jupiter's connected to his. Slight misplay, but it would have been really, really nice for him to have a full health Musketeer crossing the river, demanding more out of his opponent.
So an interesting difference in these two decks between the Inferno Tower and the Goblin Cage. This Balloon not going to get a drop, but will get death damage on the left-hand side.
Yeah, and you know, it is very interesting because you talk about, you know, the higher damage, the higher health of the Inferno Tower, but the quicker cycle here from the Goblin Cage. And, you know, a lot of times, wow, Musketeer on the tower with at least 5 shots.
That's a huge chunk of damage, Andrew. 979 to 1394 in the left-hand lane. Here we go, double elixir time. Jupiter King, not much room to make mistakes right now. Pedro firmly in control.
Yeah, not at all. And Pedro doing the correct thing. He goes, all right, I'm going to cycle into the lane that you're most likely going to attack. My Inferno Tower can deal with your balloon push on the right-hand side, so I never want to get too low in elixir. And he's just going to go for chip damage, whether it's logs or miners for the rest of this game. There's 2 logs already in since I started speaking. So Pedro chipping away and trying to take this set away from Tribe's Jupiter King.
First cage down, we'll see Jupiter cycle another one, this one up high.
And again, Pedro
The Musketeer survives, no, zapped off.
Balloon coming in, that will get death damage.
And Miner goes right to the Musketeer. Ice Golem does not protect on the left-hand side. Jupiter King making a push now with the Balloon. Miner gonna go towards the Inferno Tower. Perfect call going high and inside. This Balloon might sneak on through here, Andrew.
Yeah, I really think so. There's nothing there. It creates room with the snowball. Balloon is in. Jupiter King turns this back around. Look at that.
Wow. That's a huge comeback in those final moments. Jupiter King says, you will not take this from me. What a big win for Jupiter. Prediction on the Inferno Tower. I don't know if Jupiter King connects there. I don't know if Jupiter King's able to make it through. Instead, that Balloon burns off, and maybe we have a win for Pedro in 2 games.
So here we go, resetting here in game number 3. Another zap comes in for Jupiter King, allows him to get a little bit of minor chip damage. Pedro goes with a Barb Barrel.
It's looking like Graveyard for Pedro in our 3rd game. And it's going to be the RG Miner deck for Jupiter King.
Yeah, you know, I think Jupiter King looks at that and goes, okay, you spent a lot of elixir early on. I'm going to start my push in the back. We're going to see how you're going to deal with my layered pushes early on in single elixir so that, once again, you can see what he did in double elixir at the end of the last game, too. Maybe he can pick apart the defense that Pedro puts together.
Jupiter overall up by 2 at the start of that sequence. Royal Giant is getting through and does get a couple shots on tower.
And you have this Prince up front tanking for that E-Wiz, which is getting a lot of utility in. Royal Giant only gets a few shots, but Firecracker down should clean all this up.
First minute and a half away. Things still pretty close, 23-18 to 21-12. And a second RG, this time very aggressive. High in single elixir from Jupiter.
Well, I think a lot of that has to do with how much damage this Firecracker does. When you get a Firecracker played in the right spot and it gets as much utility as that one did, Jupiter King goes, all right, there's no way you have enough elixir to truly punish me after this push. And you can see right now, he's got the 5 for the Prince, tank for both of these cards, create a very small counter push.
Miner out to the front this time, knowing that Tornado could be a factor, and chipping away at it, 13-24 down to 12-68. And here goes an early Graveyard from Pedro.
Yeah, Jupiter King looking for that Tornado as well as trying to get the Miner down to tank for his Prince. And then in response, he's got this Poison on defense, so a lot of trouble for Pedro.
Prince set up in the back. And Firecracker way behind for Jupiter King to help out with some of that Graveyard defense. Look at the Miner high to keep those tanks away from engaging with the Prince in the tower.
Yeah, now you see the even higher E-Wiz here, hoping to clean everything up so he can slap a Royal Giant down in front. E-Wiz does go down, so most likely going to restart his push. And he actually goes to the right now.
As putting a little pressure on the opposite side. Firecracker will also probably switch over to that lane, assuming she survives. Skeletons in front to give a little protection. So right now, Jupiter King just protecting the heck out of that Firecracker, trying to create some more pressure, but this is a big graveyard push on the left-hand side.
Yeah, defensive poison comes down. I believe Pedro is very close to getting back to his Goblin Cage, so that Firecracker on the right will maybe get a Royal Giant in front, but not going to be able to put a lot down. Instead, he goes Prince again to maybe bait out another Goblin Cage, but instead gets a Knight.
Baby Dragon getting ready to cross and is tanking for that graveyard. Poison comes down in response, but Baby Dragon gonna belch at least one time, and it does.
Yeah, I think Jupiter King there was looking to drop the Skeletons around the Firecracker. Skeletons maybe kite that Baby Dragon towards the Firecracker, and he doesn't have to worry, but interaction does not go his way, and a belch comes in.
Royal Giant does get one shot, 790. 2 Firecrackers on the board, both low on health, but yeah, all you need is 1 HP, Andrew, and they are making a nightmare for Pedro right now.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that if Jupiter King can keep stacking these Firecrackers on the board and not give poison value, it becomes a very frustrating thing for Pedro to deal with because he has no way to actually get to them until they're right up next to the river, and he can either drop a Barb Barrel or a Knight.
So now Jupiter drops a Poison High to work on the Ice Whiz, but not going to be in cycle now on defense. Has to get back around very, very quickly. And that's an offensive poison in from Pedro, so a lot of damage. Miner goes to the back of the tower, opposite direction.
Ice was on the Miner. Miner does get a few shots in. Here comes the Royal Giant, knowing that he had to hold the Tornado to play defense against this RG. Goblin Cage high, plus the Tornado. No damage in other than the poison.
Ewiz trying to set the line. Miner into the back. 399 on the top, 137. The Miner trying to chip away at the bottom, 25 HP. The top is ticking down. Poison trying to beat it out, and Jupiter King, by a hair, gets it done.
90 HP remains. You see the Tornado coming in. You see the Skeletons piling up, and Pedro just gets the rug pulled out from underneath him. Tribe, with 2 reverse sweeps in a row, finish their regular season perfect, and they get that first spot in playoffs.
Jupiter King. Jupiter King. Wow.
Yeah.